Anne reads the Overreaching essay. Okay, I agree. I haven't read the essay for a bit, so I don't know if it said this, but I can say that I agree with this statement. Agree? Agree. So like consider the split screen iPad project. I think if your whole life is stuff like that, you're going to be overwhelmed and fail. So I would not count it as like an easy project. I would say you want to do, let's say, 80% of stuff should be significantly easier than the iPad thing, so you're not getting frustrated and having a hard time. And then 20% or less could be things that are more like the iPad project that are more challenging. Especially when they're optional, so when you're like feeling stressed, you don't have to do them. Like having the iPad project available when you feel like you can handle it is a lot better than like if your job is that hard for you, but you like have to go even when you're having a bad day. Like I would definitely not recommend trying to do the iPad split screen stuff that frustrates you on a bad day or like when you're feeling stressed out or whatever. But being able to do it only when you feel like you can handle it is a lot nicer. Right, like marriage and job and college. And you're supposed to do them like on a certain timeline to some extent rather than like when you're ready. People just get sort of pushed into them like you do this and then you do that and then you do that. And like get a car and there's get a house. Lots of people like get mortgages when they like don't really know anything about managing finances, and that's often a bad idea. Or like they get used to living with people that they have fights with, or just having friends that they have fights with, and like having fights be just part of their social interaction. And then they get used to those fights. The fights are disasters, but they just think it's normal, and they don't know how to not fight with people. And they feel like they need a big social life and stuff like right now, rather than it being something they could work towards. And they don't know how to work towards things. They're like, well, if I don't get a mortgage now, or I don't get a job now, or I don't get a girlfriend now, nothing's gonna be better later. Like I could wait, but I'll still be bad at it later. They don't know how to like wait and get good at it and then do it because they're bad at learning. That's like actually the biggest problem, I think. I think I might cut out my audio for this email and stick it on YouTube because I think I said some good things that I want to share. And I might just, yeah, have the rest of it be on Gumroad. And then this email in particular. I don't feel like writing out what I just said, but I think I want to put it where everyone can get it. So it'll just be a short video, and I'll do the rest of this thread. Yeah, this is a good point. That is a good question. Also a good question. Yes, I think so. I didn't read this yet. I skipped ahead. Let's see. Yep, good questions. Anne could think this stuff through more and try to clarify it. Right, so if you have a full-time job like that, those are hard enough for most people. They're already causing major problems. And then if you like add a big side project, that's even more overbooked. Okay. Right, if you want to include writing, instead of saying writing or communication, you could say like communication and then parentheses including writing, in case you think people won't think of writing or it needs to be emphasized. Because it's not communication or writing. That makes it sound like they're different things, when actually writing is a type of communication. That's good. I think Alyssa has made some progress on this, I think. I think it's good. So just like step one is admit you don't know instead of pretending you do know. You don't have to like, figure everything out at once. Just, step one, figure out what the current status is okay, there are some things here that I just don't know. Or that I know a bit about them, but it's pretty vague. Like, okay, just admit that. That's the situation. Know what the situation is. Don't hate yourself. Don't be all judgmental. Just start to understand what situation you're in. And then you can start to think about what things you might want to do about it once you know what's going on more. And that helps break improvement down into smaller steps. Like find out what's going on, then decide what you might want to do about it, then try to take a first step on doing something about it. Those can all be separate steps. So you're going piece by piece more. Whereas if you just try to like, I'm going to fix my introspection problems, I'm going to get good at it now, I'm going to only know what I mean when I introspect. Like if you just try to do it all at once, it's going to be too much and you're not going to know how to do it. And when you go step by step, you can do things like you can go back one step. You can be like, okay, this isn't working. I'm going to go back one step. Or something went wrong. I think something I changed recently is actually causing me a problem. I'm going to go back one step for now. Whereas if you do it all at once, if you need to abort or revert, you have to like go back on everything at once because you don't know which thing caused the problem because you did lots of things at once. But when you do one thing at a time, you can change one thing, see what happens. Change one thing, see what happens. That way, if there's a disaster or whatever, you know which thing to blame. I think Alyssa means a huge problem like in the world or a huge problem for the people who do it. This sentence is kind of vague or unclear because it doesn't say like a huge problem for who or for what or something. So I think it either means for like people in general in the world or for individuals who do this, it is a huge problem for them. People do prioritize, but they don't necessarily consciously prioritize or prioritize in a reasonable, thought out way. There's always some sort of prioritization, but it can be due to like bias and assumptions they don't think through. And it can be done really unconsciously and in a bad way that they just picked up from their culture during childhood and they never really critically analyzed it and changed their priorities to match what they actually want in life. Okay, I'm going to mark the video here and then I'm going to cut out these two things for YouTube later.